Hi, how to configure GitHub Actions to run Cypress end-to-end tests on CI server from GitHub. In this video, I will show you how to configure your project to run your tests in parallel, to basically have a few parallel jobs on GitHub Actions, and thanks to that you will be able to run your Cypress test suite much faster. First thing, let's assume you have the project hosted on GitHub and you have tests written in Cypress.io, which is end-to-end test runner. So you can basically jump to your project on GitHub, and you will find there a tab called Actions, where you will be able to see your all CI builds. But to be able to use it, you need to add to your project file called in directory.github/workflows, and I have example of such a file. So you create file, let's call it main.yaml. Here is the path to where you should put it. And this configuration file tells GitHub to run your project on latest Ubuntu version. You configure parallel jobs using a strategy called matrix, and this basically will create combination of each items. So in our case, we want to run two parallel jobs, so our test suite will be split across two jobs, and we define that each job should have some index, like first job would have index 0, second job would have index 1. This will be used by a tool called Knapsack Pro that allows you to run your Cypress tests in parallel. So later on you can see that we have a few steps, like checking our code to the Ubuntu system on GitHub Actions CI. Then we just set what version of Node we are using, and then you just install all your packages, then build your project. Let's say you also need to run HTTP server with your application, because our end-to-end test runner, which is Cypress, will be testing our app. So we need to have up and running our application. Here we just tell that let's run this in the background, because we want to have this HTTP server running in the background. And then we can jump to another step, which is basically automatically split tests across parallel job. And to do that, we are using a tool called Knapsack Pro. And Knapsack Pro has a client for Cypress test runner, and here we set some environment variables, like we need API token for Knapsack Pro. This API token is fetched from the secrets. We can configure secrets in settings for our repository and in the section secrets. So here you have to add this API token. To get this API token, you can sign up at knapsackpro.com. Basically, Knapsack Pro will work with many test runners like Cypress and some test runners for Ruby. To give you high-level overview how it works, so you have your CI server. In our case, it's GitHub Actions, and you have list of tests files, which is Cypress tests files. And between those two, there is Knapsack Pro wrapper around Cypress that will split your tests across parallel jobs in a way that each parallel job will finish work at similar time. And thanks to that, our CI build will be as fast as possible, and there will be no bottleneck. Knapsack Pro is using API server, where there is a queue with list of test files sitting on. And also Knapsack Pro client for Cypress has built-in mechanism that in case of network issues, when let's say API would be not available, Knapsack Pro client will be able to run tests in fallback mode, so you can be sure that your tests will be running always on your CI server. Yeah, so this is high-level overview how Knapsack Pro works. And yeah, so this is the configuration, and when you go to Actions tab on GitHub, you will see list of your CI builds. So let's check the latest CI build, and here, as you can see, we are running 2 parallel jobs, and some tests were executed on the first job, and some tests were executed on the second job. So yeah, this is very simple configuration. You can check it for your project. If you have like really slow test suite, you can, let's say, run 10 or 20 or 50 parallel jobs, and Knapsack Pro will ensure that the tests are distributed evenly across those parallel jobs, and thanks to that you are getting as fast CI builds as possible. Yeah, so you can learn more, just visit knapsackpro.com. I will attach links below this video to this GIST configuration file and to another video about how Knapsack Pro Queue Mode works, how exactly the tests are split across those parallel jobs. So thank you for watching, and I hope this will be helpful for you. See ya, bye bye.